Hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to do a tutorial for you for the Coastal Pines baby hat. So a couple weeks ago, Hannah released a pattern, my daughter Hannah, called the Coastal Pines baby blanket. She used herringbone half double crochet and used it with this new yarn from Yarn Inspirations called Cotton Terry. It's kind of like it's a very soft cotton, nubby little texture, cotton, acrylic, and nylon. And she paired it with our favorite softy baby cotton and came up with the most adorable baby blanket. So I know that a lot of you like to gift a little baby hat alongside the baby blanket. So I went ahead and whipped up a little pattern that matches the blanket, and I just think it turned out so cute. So anyway, let's get started. So I'm hoping you'll have a little bit extra of the baby cotton and the two colors from your project, because it really doesn't take that much yarn, but definitely, one of each. This color is French Twill, and this color is called Bayou. I sized down a hook though for the hat. Hannah used an H for the blanket, and I am using a G 4mm hook. So we're going to start with the brim of this hat first, and I'm going to chain 11. The brim is just simply a back loop single crochet, and we'll make it to the width that we need. So I'm going to work single crochet into the top of each loop of the chain for this first row. And then on the next row, I will work into the back loop only. When you get to the end of the row, chain 1 and turn your work. And this is where we will just work into the back loop of the single crochet of the previous row. That chain 1 just simply added height up to the next row. Okay, you're going to continue to do this. Now, if you'd like to make the hat, this is totally adaptable to any size. I'm just going to be making the newborn to 3-month size here. So I'm going to make this brim here about 10 inches. Okay, so chain 1 and turn. Okay, so mine is about 54 rows, and that's about 11 inches, 10 and a half, 11 inches. So this is coming in at about the 3-month size, but I will have a size chart on my website, and you can make it the size that you need. The width is about 2 inches. So our next thing that we need to do is go ahead and, I forgot to tell you to make a somewhat longish tail, because we're going to use this to sew the two sides together. So here we go with a tapestry needle. I do work under the 2 loops here. Come on, there we go. And just go round and around. Do that twice. And sew these 2 sides together to make the brim. So I'll pop back on after I've got this sewed together. So hopefully, and I'm gonna say a prayer. I have enough. I think I do. But make sure you have maybe a longer tail so you don't have to worry. All right, I had enough and I quickly wove in that tail. So clipping that off. You have just the cute little band. So what we're going to do now is work a round of single crochet. We're going to place 2 single crochets at the end of a row and then skip a row. So here we go. We'll just start right here with 2 single crochets. Skip this row and work right into that row. So it's kind of nice if you can find the exact same spot. Mine is kind of like right at the edge of that ridge right there. That'll give it kind of a nice little neat appearance. So we're working 2 single crochets at the end of a row. We're skipping that row, working into the next row. Now when you get back to the very start, just work a little slip stitch underneath the first single crochet that you made of that round. And you should have an even number of stitches, which if you had 54 rows, you should have 54 stitches because we're working 2 every other row. So just chain 2 and turn. Now we're going to start working the herringbone half double crochet, just like we did to match the blanket pattern. And the thing though, when you combine this herringbone half double crochet with these single crochets, they're a little bit tall. So we need to do just a tiny bit of reducing in the numbers on this round. So we are going to work 1 herringbone half double crochet into each of the first 9 stitches, and then we're going to skip the 10th. And that will help bring in the hat just a little bit. I worked this so many times and this stitch just kind of like made it start going like that. So reducing it every 10 stitches seems to do the trick. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. So I have 9 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm just simply going to skip the next single crochet. Okay, so just continue that around. I'm going to work another 9 herringbone half double crochets and skip the 10th. And probably won't work out exactly even at the end of the row, but as long as I've got a couple skip stitches in there, it's going to be great. So I'll meet you back at the end of the round. All right, so I got a round and I had about 4 stitches left to make after I skipped the 10th one there. So it won't exactly work out, but anyway, work 1 final herringbone, join to the top of the first herringbone stitch of that row, chain 2, turn your work, and now you don't have to worry about counting or anything. Just work your herringbone half double crochets here all the way around. So just like it is in the blanket pattern, I am working 4 rows of herringbone to 8 rows or 6 rows, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows of the color. And I will jump back on when I'm up here. I just did some decreasing simply, and I'll show you how to tie off the hat. So that's basically it of all I did. So this little hat turns out to be, kind of have to, if you are making it larger, you know, measure your stripes. A little newborn hat needs to at least be, to 3 months, needs to at least be 5 inches. This one is about 5.5, not including the brim. I should leave that up because that's how it's going to be. So 5.5 inches tall, and about, like I said, it was 11 inches wide. So that's super cute. Okay, so I will obviously assume, since you've already done the blanket maybe, that you know how to join yarn and everything. So I will jump back on when it's time to sew this. How is it going? I just did, as I'm about to add this last color, wanted to make sure that you know I am joining in the top of the first stitch. So there's the 2 chains, and then I'm joining there. Okay, but it's time to add the new color. So I will insert my hook, pull through with the new color, and I am cutting after each round. I'll weave those ends in later. I will chain 2 and get started on the next round. So working into the next stitch right there with the first one. And when you get around to the end of this round, this new color chain kind points to where your last stitch is going to be made right there. Okay, so I'm going to work a few more rounds. If I get to the height that I want, I'll show you how I decrease and tie up the hat. It's really pretty simple. Let's see how much we have here though. 4 inches, so I'll go another inch. So it might not make the whole, because this is 1 3/4 inches, so I might not get all 6 rows of that in, and that's okay, because I mean, if you wanted to, you can. It would just be like a really cute tall hat for the little baby. So cute. I love it. When you are ready to decrease the hat, it takes about 2 rows. It will take the last 2 rows. So this is what you'll do, is work 1 herringbone, and into the next one, we will do a decrease. And to decrease, it's doing a herringbone half across 2 stitches. So let me show you that again. So work 1 herringbone like you've been doing, and then yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch and just pull through the 1 loop. Then yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull through 1 loop, and then pull through all 3. So go around and do that for the next 2 rows, and then we'll tie off. All right, I just finished the second round. Just going to give myself a sufficiently long tail so that I can sew this top together. And then, of course, you could choose to weave the ends in first, either way. But just work your needle in and out the stitches, that top row, and I go ahead and do this a couple times, not just one time around. I will weave in and around until it really comes in as a tight circle, and I start with the first row and then work myself around. This yarn happens to be obviously kind of nubby, so it's going to stay put after you weave it through, but I'm going to pull this tight, and then I'm going to work around a couple more times just to really make sure But you know, mostly when hats are this size, it's probably for a photo opportunity, really. I mean, they don't, and it's just a cute, cute thing to add to your gift of a blanket. So let me just kind of finish this, and then I'll weave the end in, going backward a little bit. That's not going to go anywhere just because of that nubbiness. But okay, so then I'll take some extra time and I will go ahead and weave in the ends that are on the inside here. But just so you can see, we've got a cute little hat. Here's the other one, the little sample. So, and I've played around with that one a little bit, which you can do with this one and get it all worked out and cute. So this is the Coastal Pines baby hat. All the details are on daisyfarmcrafts.com. There'll be a size chart. I think this actually would be really cute, even bigger. And in fact, my little grandson, Baby Jack, I was with him and he said, I want one, Grandma. So I might be making this even bigger. Okay, have a wonderful day. And thank you again for stopping by. We'll see you next time.